Hello everyone and welcome back to the Minecraft guide, or more specifically a very, blasé or sloppy version of the Minecraft guide. The Minecraft guide, I just finished doing two specific guides over Redstone. The first part was over parts, the second part was over mechanics and how to manipulate them. But, learning about all those parts and learning about all of the mechanics, all of that, it's all good and well, but it's kind of pointless if you don't know how to apply all of that stuff. What good is knowing all of the rules if you don't know, if you don't actually have anybody to play the game with? So, to give you some practical examples of what's going on with the mechanics and the pieces, I'm going to show you how to make use of them. And actually, I already did the two videos that I really wanted and intended to do, but I've gotten some pretty regular requests to show how exactly I built this farm here. Now, this farm is automated. The way that it works is that these large pipes that I built in the back, I built them to look like pipes. You hit a lever up front, and it retracts a couple of pistons inside of the pipes, which release infinite water block sources. The water comes out, hits the ground, and whenever water flows over crops or torches for that matter, it breaks them and they are carried along in the current. So the way that this is designed is the water comes out of the pipes, breaks the crops, carries the resulting croppage down along the current all the way down to the end here, and hits these hoppers at the very edge, and they all filter down into this chest here where everything comes through. Got some cobblestone in there for some reason. So a lot of people are really curious about how exactly I went about building this magnificent structure. So, I wasn't intending to do any sort of a tutorial over this, so this video is probably going to be a little bit more haphazard, a little bit less planned out. Quite clearly, I'm not entirely knowing what I'm doing here because I had no intention whatsoever of showing how to build this. But I will show you because you asked for it, and I'm going to hop over into a flat world in creative mode to show you the precise block counts and how to set up the redstone around it and whatnot. I've already set it up just to save time, and I'm going to show you the measurements and whatnot so you fully understand how it works. But I'll just switch over to the flat world now and show you how to do that. Okay, so here I am in the flat world, and this is what the farm looks like down in its stripped version. Now, the specific bonus of using this version that I've built standalone in the flat world is that it's up on stilts. So that log, this large row of birch logs, this represents the first block above ground, if you will. So everything below this horizontal line of birch logs, all of this is supposed to be below ground, okay? This is stuff that you would dig if you would dig a tunnel or whatnot to get the redstone going through and whatnot. So really, the entire reason why I built this on stilts was so I could move underneath and you could clearly see what I am up to without having to try to figure out how I dug my tunnels or, have any of the confusion of, okay, I know what you did, but I'm not entirely certain how you went about doing that, or I can't see. So the first thing that I'm going to start off with is the actual construction and design, the layout of this farm, specifically pertaining to hydration and whatnot. And right up back here, this is where it starts. The first thing to keep in mind is that the rows of croppage are 6 blocks deep. So if you actually look at this and count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks of dirt here. And then it drops down 1, and that's where I put the support beams. So the support beams mark where a new level starts. So there's another 6 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, wait. Did I miscount there? Okay, so actually it goes down to 7. I guess I don't... like I said, I wasn't planning to do a guide over this. I just kind of know how to build it properly. So one of the large problems with this design is the fact that if you... hydration. Hydration is an issue. It's supposed to sit right here at the back, the single block of water, to hydrate everything. And naturally, as I covered in the farm guide, water only hydrates 4 blocks wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the reason why this little gap here exists. So everything beyond this 4th block isn't going to hydrate. So as a result, where all of these birch blocks are, I put channels of water down. And moreover, you know, if you remember seeing in the actual guide, there's inverted stairs on the sides showing how that lays out. So all of the places here that have birch wood, these are actually channels of water that are helping to hydrate these extra 4 blocks right here. Now the problem is that these 2 blocks right here, they're never going to hydrate, so I don't even bother planting anything on them at all. I don't even leave them dirt, because if farmland is not hydrated, it's just going to turn back into normal dirt. It's not going to stay hoed. So the way that this works is that you start with the top level and you count it 6 blocks, and then you hop down, and you're supposed to count 6 blocks, but I guess 7 works as well. I'm not entirely certain about that. And then you do the same thing down, and then you get down to the bottom level. The design of this farm is supposed to be 4 levels, so 1, 2, 3, and here's number 4. And this 4th one is supposed to be 7 long. I think it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it's 8 long. So this bottom one can be 8 long, and this final line of dirt here, this is where the hoppers go. I'll put that in at the very, very end. But that's the basic layout of how this all works. Okay, so the next thing to show you are the water channels here. These are more or less the basic, the absolute minimum style that you require to be able to set the channels up and flow water down. Actually, you could move the pistons in closer. You don't need this 3-block channel right in front of it. All you really need is a source block here and a piston right in front of it, but I like hiding everything. And also, I thought it looked really, really cool to make it look like there were like 3 giant pipes at the back of the farm that would spew out water whenever I wanted to harvest. So there you go. But the way this is designed, let me just grab a piston here. The way that this is designed is from this back retention wall, I guess you could call it, you build up 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3, and that 3rd block is actually the bottom block that you use to run the water out of. So from that back block, and I'm just going to do this as if I was in survival mode for you, you count back 1, 2, 3. So once that's done, you've got everything that you need in front of the piston. I'm just going to go ahead and extend back 1 more. So that's everything you need to make the piston happen. Then I'm going to hop right down here. So you put the piston on level with the other wood planks. Just go ahead and remove all that. And then you also come around and you build a... Ooh, wrong block. You build a channel for the water to run down. And up like that. There we go. So, there we go. Channel is completely built. You can see the way that it is there. Now, the next step is to have some sort of a tower leading up to it, because you basically want to be able to completely conceal the way that you get power up to that piston. And, I mean, it's entirely aesthetic. You can leave all of the guts showing in their, you know, ugly glory, because I really do find redstone constructs to be really, really ugly, getting all the wiring to work. It's not glamorous. I do not find it glamorous at all, so this is what you want in the end. Now, that's everything you need to set up the design. The next step is to actually get your power up to the piston. And the way that you do that is with an inverted redstone tower. And I'm just going to switch woods so it's obvious what I'm doing here. Impossible for you to miss. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this the hard way for you guys, just so it's completely unmistakable that this can be done in survival mode without any trouble. Obviously, I have infinite resources because I am actually in creative, but, you know, just to make a point, I'm not going to use the flying ability, and I'm just going to go up here. There we go. Now, you just heard the piston turn on, and if you look up there, you can see straight through to the sky, and yes, indeed, it is on. Now, if I go ahead and just connect a little bit of redstone up here, see, it inverted all of the torches, and now the piston has retracted. So this means that all we have to do to get this redstone tower to retract the piston is to feed some sort of a redstone signal into this block right here. Well, that's not too difficult. All I have to do is remove that block and put a redstone wire here. And this is where you would basically be digging a tunnel underneath the farm, because remember, these stilts where these right below that block, right, that line of birchwood logs, these 4 blocks of the struts here, this represents underground. So you would be digging a tunnel in doing this. There's no need to have this large area open underneath. Okay, so I put a wire in, but at the same time, you also need to do this with all of the towers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put the rest of the towers in. I'm going to save you the drag of having to watch me do this, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. Okay, there we go. I finished it, got all of the redstone towers in place. So the next thing that you can do is you can connect everything up via redstone, and there's a multitude of ways that you can do this. You can do it this way, or it's, possible for you to just put repeaters in if you want to, but the fact of the matter is that you just need to feed redstone wire directly into these blocks, or just feed redstone wire directly into the blocks. It'll work no matter what. So the other thing that you probably want to do is make certain that this block right here is a repeater, so that no matter how strong the signal is whenever it reaches right here, it will feed at full strength into these blocks to invert all of them. Now that that's done, I'm going to head back over here to the front, and I'm going to show you the control center for this. Now, the way that this works is that you've got this tiny little box over here, and you put a lever on the front. Now, you could extend it up to, 2 blocks tall and put the lever right there, but, whatever, I'm just going to put it right there. Now, what I like to do is I like to cover over this with half slabs, like so, to hide everything whenever I'm done, but, that's purely aesthetic. So, the way that what you have to do is you have to get the signal that this lever is going to create out of the block and move it down. So, as covered in the redstone guides, what you do is you hit this lever and the torch turns on and off. So that means that the block is charged. So you want to attach a lever to the back, and the way you're going to get that signal down is through inverting and pulling the signal down. This was covered in the mechanics video, but the way that you do that is you put 1 block down, you move 2 blocks down, put 1 to the side right there. So there you go. You have this 1 block of empty space, and you put redstone on top of it. Now, because this redstone is occupying this space that I'm staring at right now where that wood block is, because it's occupying that space, it's technically touching that redstone torch, so it's pulling power straight out of it. And redstone wire powers the block that it sits on. So this block right here is now charged, which means that if I put a torch on it, it inverts the torch. Now all I have to do is come down 2 spaces again and do the exact same thing, putting redstone wire on the top of it. Now the torch isn't powered, so this isn't getting any power, and likewise this torch is now lit. Now, using the same methodology, 1 block down, it's getting power. So I go ahead and just lead this wire straight over here. There we go, connect it up, and now all I have to do is go through here and put redstone repeaters in to boost the signal so it makes it all the way to the end. And there you have it. Now, if you just heard, the pistons up at the top have retracted. Well, actually, that's a problem, because the lever is actually in the off state. It's not actually powering the block. This is on. The torch is off. This is off. Now, to some people, this isn't going to matter a whole lot, as long as it's connected to this lever. What does it matter at all? But, some people, it's going to make a difference. So let's just say that for some unforeseeable or unknown reason, this is a problem. This is actually a very large problem, because you want that lever stuck in the off state, and that torch on the back of the block remains powered. Well, what if you actually, for whatever reason, you want it to stay powered? Well, there's a simple solution to that, and that is to remove that there and put this down, and you just, create another inversion to make certain that you get the proper power that you want. So the power comes in, feeds this torch, turns it off, makes certain that all of this stays off, and the pistons remain extended. Now, the last thing to do, this is something that you could do much, much earlier in the build, But the last thing to do is to add water. Now that the water has been added, before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and cover up these spots right here, where the water is to help hydrate the farmland. And I'm going to grab a chest, and I'm going to grab a hopper. So the last remaining thing to be done is to add the chest in that everything is going to filter down into, right there. And also add the hopper system that's going to collect everything. So if I just get rid of that. So using the shift and right click function, I'm going to attach that hopper to the chest. As you see, it's attached to the chest. This is what a hopper looks like normally, and that's what it looks like when it's attached to the chest. Specifically, you can see it branching off to the side instead of going down. So go ahead and just attach a bunch of hoppers that all lead up to that middle hopper. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and grab some fence, and I'm going to put it over the top like I did in my own personal build on the farm that I have. And there you have it. It's completely done, and I'm just going to go ahead and take some oak wood and cover up these channels here. This is really important that you have this extra block right here, because if you don't have this extra block, there's a chance that the food, when the croppage, whenever it's broken, it will just pop off and it'll land. If you have it a flat surface like this, or, you know, the channel's open, the food may pop off and land on the block right there, or it may land in the water and it won't flow down and it won't collect. So that's something that you want to watch out for. Now the last thing to do is to just get some stuff that I can chuck into the water whenever I hit the trigger. So I'm just going to come over here, and everything should work, fingers crossed. Just go ahead and hit the lever, and if you watch it right there, there you go, it's working. And the water comes down, it hits that final block because it's at its maximum flow distance. And once it, trickles down one extra block, it has more force, the water has more force, so it can go another 6 or 7 blocks before it will stop flowing again and reach its maximum limit. And so on the 7th, or maybe the 8th block, it reaches this spot. It drops down again, and it renews its strength to be able to carry further. So just to make a point that this entire system works fully and completely, I'm just gonna, chuck a bunch of saplings out into the top here. That's more than enough. If you just watch right here, you see what's happening is that a lot of these saplings are finding their way into 2 specific channels between the pipes. Not all of them are finding their way into those specific channels, but come over here and just keep watching. Those saplings are going to hit the hoppers, and you see they vanish. It's because the hoppers pick up items that sit immediately on top of them. So they're getting sucked up by the hoppers, and actually one of the biggest problems is, as if you just watch this one right here, it's going to hit the middle hopper. Oh no, it didn't hit the middle hopper. This one will right here. It's going to hit that middle hopper, and oh my, it didn't. Well, a particular problem that does happen and exist, maybe this one will do it. Will you do it? Will you do it? Nope, neither of them did it. This particular design, where all of the other hoppers feed into the middle hopper, creates a particular problem where this, it's a bottleneck. You have, 4 sets of hoppers feeding into one, and another 4 set of hoppers feeding into one, and this thing will get full. That'll especially happen if you fill these farm fields up to maximum and full, because that's a lot of croppage to end up in. I'm saying croppage, I don't even think that's a real word. But anyways, all of the crop will come down, and that's a lot of crop to, fit into a single 5-slot hopper. So you'll end up with a bottleneck where things will be sitting around, and anything that lands on top of the hopper won't be sucked up because the item inventory will be full. But anyways, eventually it will all filter down into this chest, as you can see, and that is exactly how you build the automated water pipe farm, Redstone, whatever have you. And once again, keeping in mind that I had no intention of doing a guide over this, so if this is a little bit haphazard and not as well explained as anything else, that's the reason I'm doing this at request, not because I was planning on doing it. And I'm also working on a tight schedule. You guys are my fans. I really do love the fact that you guys care about the work that I do, which is the reason why I did this, despite not having a plan for it and, being on a tight deadline and everything for other work. But anyways, that is everything to the automated farm and water harvesting and everything design that I came up with. And one more time, don't forget that these 4 blocks that consist of the struts here, this is below ground. I am actually sitting on below ground. That horizontal line of birch logs, it represents the first block above ground, because you're supposed to build this completely on a flat surface. So that's everything. Ooh, and the only other thing is, you know, if you really care about the looks, you can come down this way and hide these redstone towers, so you know you don't have this ugly looking gutwork marring your landscape, and you end up with something that kind of looks like a pipe, especially if you come over it and you know, pimp it out with stairs to make it look a little bit more interesting. Maybe put some stairs on the sides of the front like I did to make it look like there's an item, a pipe lip up at the front there. Actually, for that matter, I completely forgot to remove that. But anyways, I'm rambling now, completely talking about stuff that doesn't matter. This is your water farm, however you want to call it, and I'm William Strife. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it was plenty helpful. I'll see you later. Bye.